How are you,
Hi,
Donzella?
how are you? Good, good. You're
Hi, I'm fine.
all glammed up. I'm like,
Oh no.
you look great.
You look
Okay,
wonderful. Thanks for having
thank
me.
you. But I've been running around, girl, all day. It's about 1,000 degrees outside. You're in, what state are you in?
Texas.
Okay, you're in.
Houston, Texas. It's super hot.
It's super hot. Is it humid or is it hot?
Both. It's hot. It's hot, hot, and hotter. I
Right.
think when I came in, the dashboard said 105 degrees, so it's pretty
How
hot.
do you keep a hairstyle? How do you keep a hairstyle in Houston?
I'm sorry?
I said, how do you keep a hairstyle in Houston?
Oh, and I got a fresh wash this morning, and as you can see, it's limp. The humidity just really killed it. But
Yeah.
you look wonderful as
I'm
usual.
I'm due to get my hair washed tomorrow, straightened out. But normally during the summer, I normally just wear it this way because it's so hot and we have a pool and there's no sense in getting it straightened. But it's like, it's time to get it straightened. But enough about that. So um, I'm glad that you joined me. And I want you to share with everyone who you are, what it is that you do. Explain to us some of the pros and cons about what you do and just give it.
Awesome.
So we're just gonna be dogging here, just having a great time. Guys, you can ask us questions, but unfortunately we won't be able to get to all your questions. But just drop them in the comments, and we'll try to get to some of the questions and give you some answers. Okay.
Awesome. Well, I'm Claudia Summers. I'm a registered nurse. I live in Katy, Texas, which is a suburb a little bit outside of Houston, Texas. And I own and operate actually 3 personal care homes.
Okay. So what are personal care homes? I did my research a little bit, but I want you to tell us a little bit about what they are. How long have you been in business with operating and owning?
Well, with my first home, we've been up and running for a little bit over 7 years, and it's actually a licensed assisted living. And the difference, I know they use the words interchangeably between, personal care homes or residential care homes. And so we are more on the side of where it looks exactly like a home, but we are, we're regulated by the state. So we follow all the guidelines as an assisted living would. We get our inspections and the state pops in, and we're very regulated here. Like I said, however, it's just like a home where it's just like a regular home with a home setting, and we abide by all the other, state rules and regs.
So are there different levels of care in personal care homes?
Yes.
So I know.
So we do have different levels of care, of course. With the license, with the larger home that I run here in Houston, we specialize mainly in dementia patients,
Okay.
and yes.
Okay, so this baby.
Oh,
Okay,
he's so adorable. Is it a he or a she?
the girl. Her name
Oh,
is
she's adorable.
Okay, so do you actually own 3 of them, or you own and operate, or do you just operate?
I own and operate all 3. And so it's a lot of hard work, as you know. I'm very hands-on, and so hey there. I'm sorry. Yeah, very hands-on, very heavily involved. I'm not as involved as I used to be because I've got great managers in place and a great team that helps out. And so, but I'm the registered nurse, and I'm also the registered nurse there. So I oversee all the medication management and things like that.
So let me just tell you what my downfall is with owning and operating. So I've been in business a little over 10 years, and so is delegating. I don't know how to do that.
You don't do that very well.
Don't.
It takes some time.
So there's no one out here like me. Okay, they can't do what I do.
Right.
Regarding my facilities. Okay. I do my own tours. I do my own assessments. I do everything, right? I need to know what I'm getting. I need to know what I'm not getting, what I don't want. And so after I do my own assessments, then I will send all the paperwork to my clinical team and I'll say, hey, I'm thinking about bringing this person in. What are your thoughts? Okay. They say, Donzella, I don't think that he or she is a great fit, and this is why. Right? Because they tell me they don't think that that individual may be a good fit. I still may bring them in and try it. And sometimes sometimes it doesn't work. You know what I mean? So
yes, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I have a husband and wife nurse practitioner team on board. I have a psychiatrist on board. We're able to do blood work, x-rays, everything in-house, which is a great selling point, you know, because a lot of times, unfortunately, either family members don't have time to take the loved ones to doctor's appointments, don't want to make time, or whatever the case may be. But I try to educate people that you need to figure out or find out what a selling point is that makes people come to your facility versus the one next door.
Exactly. So for me, exactly like you said, I would go out and do my own assessments. I usually go with my gut on certain things. When I go out, I'm wanting to see the environment that client is in. Is it a healthy environment? How the family members react? You're still never 100% right or 100% on anything, but what I have done is I have trained someone else on how to do that. And so she is able to help me with that. I've done that so that I can step away, because after almost 8 years, I'm a little tired. My daughter just went off to college today, and I do want to, you know, I want to be able to really spend more time with my kids. And so delegating for me, because this is our baby, Donzella, don't forget, it's our baby. And so today it was almost like taking my heart out and put it on a plate when my daughter left. It's the same thing with our homes. It's our baby, right? And so, but I've learned over time that it's very important for me to be able to delegate and relinquish. Now, I'm still like a helicopter mom. Don't get me wrong. But it does take some time. It really does take time, because I think we have that eye. I'll tell everyone that not all money is good money. I've had clients that you know, that I did great assessments and the money was great, but somehow, you know, I knew that it wouldn't be a great fit. And for this to work, it has to be really symbiotic. It has to be a great fit for them and a great fit for you and your team.
Absolutely. Individuals need to be a great fit across the board, right? And so often, just because, you know, you may have great money, right? I may not be a great fit for you, so therefore I'm going to pass, right? And I'm moving in a gentleman tomorrow into one of my facilities, and he has $6,000. And this gentleman is 80 years old. He has a little dementia, a little anxiety, but he loves to be by himself. He doesn't want to be bothered. Wants his own private room, TV, and that's it. You know, so that, and after I did the assessment, I said, he's perfect. But those don't come too often. You know
no, they don't. They don't.
Yeah, what type of monies can people expect in a personal care home in Texas? So break down the different levels of care. As you mentioned, you do have levels of care, and what pricing may look like.
Well, Lordy, prices vary depending on what specific area that you're in, because some areas are more concentrated than others, and that really can also dictate your price. So I would always tell people that are looking to start out, you know, do your homework and know what's in your area, because if there's, you know, 2 or 3 others down the road and you're a newbie or startup, it will take you, you know, that much longer to, you know, build a name for yourself within that community, because as you know, this is really about trust. They have to know, like, and trust you to care for their family member. So it really depends on where you are. But I would say the average could range from, on the lower end of maybe 3,500, 4,000 to, you know, to 8,000. So it's a huge range, really depending on where you are and what the level of care might be.
Absolutely. And so also being in the healthcare industry, or the assisted living industry, this business is not for everyone.
No, it's not.
And unfortunately, a lot of times people may look at the money aspect of it. Sometimes let me just say this. As you mentioned earlier, that all money is not good money, right? And you have to find that perfect fit for that individual and also for yourself. Because one individual that you could move in and they're not a good fit, it could upset the whole apple cart. Right?
Absolutely.
And so that
absolutely. You can happen. You can have a great thing going. And like you said, that one admission or that one person can change the entire milieu of your home. And there's nothing worse than, I'm sure you know, of having a home that's really kind of off balance. You've got to, you know, worry about your staff. With everything that I do, I consider my staff. So if I do get a challenging client that's maybe, let's just say 400 pounds or something like that, I'm like, oh my God, my staff is going to kill me. So there are things that I do walk away from, like I said, you know, if they're a particular weight or whatever, then we might just either veer to the left or, like I said, my staff will kill me.
Well, you know what? I'm very mindful of the type of residents I bring in because of my staff. Most times. Right? But there is not a resident that me, myself, I wouldn't want to take care of someone that was really challenging, right? So I may work and I'll say, well, wait a minute. Ooh, I can't do this. I can't do that. Or I don't want to do it. Why do I expect my staff to do it?
Staff to do it.
So I may not bring an individual in with that certain type of diagnosis. However, if their level changes, they stay in.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We're in it. We're in it. I must say with the over the almost 8 years that I've been doing this, I probably had to discharge 4 residents within those 8 years. And it's been very difficult. I mean, as you know, doing a discharge, it's not something that we take lightly. It can be a very tedious process as well. So but of course, you have to do what's best. You have to do what's best and what's safest for your other residents and your staff as well. And as you discussed in one of your posts earlier on, where you mentioned, I think it was sometime last week, you mentioned that you had a resident that had mental issues, and so I have had to deal with that on 2 occasions. And like I said, I beat myself up initially. I'm like, how could I have missed this? You know, I went out, I thought I did a great assessment. Usually if the family members or hide things like, you know, what's going on with their medical history, I can usually tell by the medication list of what they're taking, like, okay, so, you know, something is missing here. And so a couple of times there was no med list to follow, and, you know, you just don't know until that mental illness presents itself. So, and like I said, once it was determined that this person could be a danger to not just themselves, but the other residents or staff, then we just had to start that ball of discharging that person so that they can get the right help that they need. And we just, like I said, I go ahead and tell family members or all the potential family members from jump that, you know, these are the kind of clients that we accept, and these are, you know, we don't accept people with mental illness or challenges because we're not equipped for that. We're not trained for that. Right. And so we have that disclosure there because it would just not be fair for them. Right. And definitely not fair to the staff. So how? I found, however, though, that the hospitals, they really don't make it easy for you to start that process or with that process.
Not at all. They don't. No. I mean, the video that you're talking about, that individual, she started off in one house, which is a 12-bed, and then I moved over to my smaller house where I thought the more one-on-one, and she was doing okay. But the more secluded that she was, the more damage that she did to herself. Oh, wow. It was bad. So then I moved her back over to the other home, and she was doing okay, but she started cheating her medications. So she literally did medication since July 7th. So for 2 weeks, she didn't have her medications, and our delegated nurse said she has to go. And long story short, last week, there was a hearing at the hospital, and the judge literally said, no, she's fine. We're going to discharge her back into your facility. The devil is a liar. She can't come back. Absolutely not. So she did come back though. So she was discharged back because I did not want to say that she couldn't come back. So she came back, and once she came back, I gave her an emergency discharge, right? Discharge, she came back. She sat on the porch the whole time. She would not come in the house. And I said, okay. I called my nurse. I told him what happened. Even when she was at the hospital, she did not take not one medication. He said, you have to discharge her. So we called 911 again, gave her an emergency discharge, and that was it.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it's tough. It's challenging, you know, and every resident is different. You know, they all have different needs, you know. So anyone that's on here, don't think that all your residents are going to be the same. Everyone has different personalities. They take different types
Absolutely.
of
There are those that capture your heart, and you cannot imagine. I had a resident that he passed away, oh my goodness, about 6 months ago, and it was so difficult to walk in the house and not see him in his chair. I would go by his room. It killed me. So it's just, I think for me, that's the hardest part of this job is you just fall in love with them. They become a, and when they leave, you know, it's just, it's painful. It can be very painful.
I decided to do, or what I've tried to do, or what I do now is that I don't get really attached to them anymore. I used to. But now since I do hospice, I don't anymore, because it's like they're here one day, they're going the next, and then here comes the next person. I've had 3 people that passed away probably within the past 3 months. One lady passed away 3 weeks ago. She was with me for 10 years. 10 years.
Wow.
That was, yeah. But other than that, I try not to get attached. It's business, but still, it pulls on your heartstrings.
There'll be a couple that kind of sneak in there.
So tell us a little bit about the process of getting into this business. Is there a lot of red tape that goes with it? Is it hard getting in? Just tell us a little bit about how that looks.
Well, for me, how I got in the business, I would love to tell you that I had a great plan, and I planned it the whole way through. I really didn't. I've been a nurse for, oh my gosh, forever and a day. I'm 53, and I've been a nurse for since I was 23, 24. So it's been a while. I worked the hospital system, and then I just got really burnt out, really tired, wanted to do something else, and so I got sick, and I was not able to work anymore in the hospital. I actually could not pass my physical to lift at least 50 pounds. And so I was out of work for almost a year. I did some case management working for insurance companies, and I hated every minute of it. However, I did it for 4 years, right? It paid the bills. And I just kept thinking, I have to do something. I have to, find a way to get back to my patients, because I really loved caring for clients, or for my patients rather, and just seeing that outcome at the end of the day. And so I started actually in my home. I started in my home with 1 patient. Yes. I started in my home. It was not the most ideal thing to do, but for me, I was super scared. I'm like, oh my gosh, I know I can care for someone, but I didn't know to what extent I could. And I really started in my home with 1 client. I had a master in the down. My mom had lived with me. She had passed away from cancer. And so the room was already equipped for, for someone that needed care. We had the grab bars, and I'd widen the door and all that for the wheelchair to go back and forth. So I truly must say that I kind of fell into this industry because I got sick, and I just could not work. I had a nursing degree and just could not work because I got sick.
Wow.
And 8 years later, I've done it, threefold. So I learned a lot on the fly. I learned a lot from other people. That's kind of how I got started. Wow. And I'm loving every minute of it.
Awesome. So how many residents do you have right now?
Currently, let's see, there's 15, roughly about 21.
Okay, great, yes. Great. I have 17.
17.
17.
Yes. And so, of course, I throw some case management in there. And I would just say for people that are starting out, just try to find something that differentiates you from, from your, the others that are around you. Do something that makes you different or special. This is definitely an industry where, you have to have compassion. And I get people that reach out to me all the time wanting to, needing my help to start up. And I'll really just try to see what are their motives. Is it, if you're just doing this for the
That's
money,
right.
I can't help you. Because, I always say, if you focus on the care, the money will come. But
Absolutely.
you cannot really focus on the money, because if that is where your focus lies, then it's not worth it it won't be worth it.
Right. So you do have a program. Is your program based off of opening a personal care home just in Texas, or where?
For now, yes, just in Texas.
Texas.
Yes.
Okay. So can you give the people that information if they want to reach out to you?
Absolutely. I do have on my website, which is www.pch.com, I do have a free ebook that's on there for anyone that wants to take a peek at that. I also have a course that's on there. It's reasonably priced. And that will just kind of give you ideas on if this is really, for you or not.
Sure.
It offers a lot of great advice for startups, just mainly for startups.
Great. So a little bit about me. I got into this business. I tell people, like, I got thrown into this business, right? Zero healthcare now. I worked a 9 to 5. My mom was the type of mother, you get out of high school, you graduate, you don't go to college, you find a job that pays you well, that has insurance, great benefits. That's what I did. My mom retired from the electric company at the age of 55. I did the same thing. I got into the electric company in Pennsylvania. 13 years later, I'm like, what are you doing? Right?
Right.
I needed so much more. Fast forward, I moved to Baltimore. I met someone. He introduced me into assisted living. He introduced me to someone, and she was in assisted living. And I was like, nah, no thanks. Take care of old people. Right? And years ago, I was just like, and I'm going to be transparent, just a me, myself, and I person. I didn't have time for other people. I didn't want to take care of people. I didn't, whatever. And so I got into this, kind of fell into it, learned it, trial and error, making a lot of mistakes. I was working a 9 to 5. But I was straddling the fence, right? Working 9 to 5, trying to do this business. There's no way you can do both. There's no way. So one day I was at work and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I need to really learn this business and figure out what it's all about. Right. So I gave a 90-day notice. Who does that? Someone who's afraid to quit their job. They're afraid to let go of that stability. So I gave a 90-day notice, October, November, December, 10 years ago, December 31st, I quit, right? That Monday, I'm like, what do I do? I didn't have a job. And at that time I was married. He says, yeah, you have a job. You have a business. I'm like, but where do I go? What do I do? And he's like, listen, you got moves, right? And I'm just like,
right.
What does that mean? What is it? So I just started going to like nursing homes and just talking to people and doing research and just, and I was making a lot of mistakes and a lot of errors and, but that's how I learned. And that's how I got to where I am today. Just, being my own mentor, being my cheerleader, my own cheerleader, just making mistakes. And, and so people ask me, do you have a medical background? I'm like, no, I learned this on my own, and,
right. And you've done an amazing job.
Yeah, and that's the best teacher, teaching yourself. And so I would get phone calls or emails and text messages. How do I do this? How do I do that? How do I do this? And I'm like, okay, well, you do this and you do this and you do that. So I'm like, wait a minute. I'm giving all this information away for free.
For free.
I need to do a business. So someone gave me the name of the assisted living coach, and that's how it stuck with me. And I just started doing seminars, my first seminar, and I believe this person is online. I used to have a facility called Comfy Home Care. That was my first facility. And I had taught somebody, and she actually opened a facility, Comfy Home Care 2, which is in my first house. And I think I saw her on here. But anyways, long story short, she was actually my first student. And she's successful and she's doing very well. But she also worked at a church, and they gave me an opportunity to have a seminar at this church, Empowerment Temple. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do a seminar. The line was literally out the door. And I'm like, oh my,
Wow.
like, be careful what you ask for and be careful what you pray for. I was good, but I wasn't that good, right?
Yes,
And
you were.
no, I was not. I don't think I was, but people wanted to hear from me. And so I was just like, okay. And I believe there were 76 people or 83 people my first seminar.
That is impressive.
So I just kind of told my story, how I started. And from then on, I've just been teaching. So now I have the Assisted Living Coach Academy, which is a curriculum. I have 30 lessons where it takes people from start to finish, from whatever state you're in. So from start to finish, there are 30 lessons. You have access to the portal for 5 months. So guys, it's the assistedlivingcoachacademy.com, right? You can, let me see. So you can take the full course or you can split it in half. Which is great about this program is it's online and people can go at their own pace, right? And I wish I had that way back when. Where I
Oh gosh.
Right?
Absolutely.
I didn't have it. But then I asked myself, if I had that, would I be worth?
That is so true. I've learned a lot of, yep, absolutely. I've done the same, learned a lot of very expensive lessons from just trial and error. So there was really no roadmap for me, or there was no roadmap for me at the time that I saw. So it was really, I was never ashamed or too embarrassed to ask questions.
Sure.
I would ask everybody anything.
Sure.
And so, yeah, and because I realized if I didn't go out and find resources, then, you know, like I said, there's just, I also, in my area, didn't see a lot of successful people kind of like me. So it's like I said, I've really had to kind of create my own niche out here, and just loving every minute of it.
Right. So in the state of Maryland, I was on a Zoom yesterday for the state for regulation. So they are changing our rules and regulations, some of them. And there are a total of 1,700 assisted living facilities in the state of Maryland. But
wow.
but what kind of made me say, my goodness, there were only 53 assisted living owners on this Zoom, on this call. And I'm like, wait a minute. If you have a business, you want to know what the new rules and regs are going to be, right?
Right.
So it comes out and they say to you, I don't know, that chair shouldn't be there. You're going to be arguing with that surveyor, and you don't even know that the rules or the regs change.
Has changed.
Right? So there's another meeting next week and one after that. So I was going through all the new rules and the regs. I'm like, wow. People have to understand, being an entrepreneur is not, it doesn't mean that, okay, I have an LLC. There's so much more.
There's so much more, so much work and research and continuing education and just staying alert and top of your game.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what are some of the pros that you would say? Give me 3 pros of owning. Okay, hold on, let me back up. Give me 3 pros of being an entrepreneur.
3 pros of being an entrepreneur. Oh my gosh, I love this. Well, I love having my free time. I do. I love it. Like I can, you know, I'm an early riser, so I'm up every morning at 5. But if I wanted to sleep in late, I have the option to do so. So that's definitely one of the pros. Just being my own boss, having my own free time.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, what's another one?
Do vacation.
Vacations. I don't have to submit a PTO. Can you imagine that? There's no PTO request anymore. I'm it.
I said, you know, it's not even about the money. It's about the freedom.
The freedom that it offers you. Absolutely. I've always said this job has, I won't call it a job. It's really my passion. It's been great. It's been really good to me. It will take care of you if you take care of it. It truly will.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So give me 2 cons about being an entrepreneur.
2 cons. well, we don't do a time clock, so we're always at work.
Right.
My I
Right.
could get a call at any
Right.
minute, at 5 in the morning, at 3 in the morning.
Yep.
It's ongoing. So that's one of the cons. I do have great backup. So if I do travel or I'm out of town, I do have managers and another nurse that backs me up as well. So that's great. But yeah, that's just it. I would say just having all the responsibility. Think of it. You're responsible for, when I wake up every day, I'm responsible for 21 human beings. I'm responsible for them.
Right.
And let's just say you have 17 clients right now, right? And with each client, there's at least two family members, so that's 30 something. And you're accountable for all those questions. And they're not always on the same
Oh, no.
page, or, there's sometimes so many different family dynamics
Absolutely.
that you kind of get caught in the middle with.
I
So those are some of the cons.
It's so funny. I remember before I was an entrepreneur, I was a 9-to-5er. Nothing wrong with 9-to-5er. But I was real quiet and real timid, right? Imagine me quiet and timid.
I cannot.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I would cry at the drop of a hat. I used to be real quiet, real shy, real bashful. And so my ex was like, you can't be shy and bashful being an entrepreneur and being a boss. I'm like, well, why? I learned that real quick.
Oh,
let me tell you something.
yeah.
Now, you know what? One thing about me, I am always there to help you. However, my rules are my rules.
Absolutely.
But it is.
Yes. I'll tell them.
I'm a straight shooter. Yeah, I'm a straight shooter, and I expect people to be that way towards me.
Absolutely.
Nothing personal.
I'll sometimes say, I don't always have to be nice, but I will be fair.
That's right.
Because if you're nice all the time, then,
That's right.
It's
Yep.
There has to be a balance there.
And that's what I
So you
strict but fair.
But fair. That's important.
But let's talk about staff.
Okay. My favorite topic. Not.
Let's talk about staff. So first tell me, what are your shifts?
My shifts are, it kind of varies sometimes. I've tried the 12-hour shifts, and that works, for me, that works best.
Okay.
Because it's usually more, it's usually more difficult finding three different people to work. So if there's like a 6 to 2, 2 to 10, 10 to 6, that can be a little bit more challenging. So 12-hour shifts works for us, and sometimes on the weekends there's a swing shift there in between. But staffing, like I said, staffing is staffing. If there's one thing that's consistent about staffing, is that it's ongoing. There's always changes. There's always, yeah.
How long do your staff caregivers usually stay with you?
Well, I actually, thank goodness, even during COVID, we didn't really have a great turnover in staffing. So far we've been really great with having staff that's been with us for quite a while.
Okay.
And but the ones that don't work out, we kindly usher them through the door. I think one thing that I'm still learning is, and I'd love to get your input on this, that you'll look at a almost perfect resume, and they interview so well, and then they show up to work and you're like, okay, who's that? They're just completely different. So I've just really learned to, yeah.
Listen, I'm going to tell you, like I said, I'm a straight shooter, and I'm going to tell you what my staff looks like. My staff, they're over 60. They want to work.
Yeah.
They know how to take care of elderly people. They're not on their phones.
Mm.
You know that they go up to work. They don't care what I'm driving. They don't care how I'm dressed.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I know what you mean. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
it's super difficult to I know exactly what you mean. They kind of, see what you drive and how you are, and they think you just, you woke up and you got here. No, like it takes hard work. It takes, it takes perseverance. It takes a lot.
you pay your dues.
So Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love sometimes the younger staff, they do bring that energy and vibrancy, but sometimes, that comes with a lot of drama, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
So
like,
each group has their drawbacks as well.
right.
But absolutely, the staffing it's yeah, ongoing.
Going. Okay, I'm going. All right. So I want to tell people that I do have a seminar coming up. I believe it's September 23rd. Information session / workshop. It is virtually. And right now I am having a pre-sale. So the pre-sale started 2 weeks ago, and the pre-sale is going through August 23rd. And if you take advantage of that pre-sale, you will receive, I don't have one here, but it's my assisted living 30-page guide. So the pre-sale will end on August 23rd. It's $75. And then the
That is
regular,
amazing. That is an amazing price. No one should miss out on that.
yeah. So, is there anyone on here who has questions, for us? Feel free to ask us questions. I felt like this was a great, dialogue, and a lot of great information for people if you're thinking about getting into assisted living, personal care homes. Claudia is here to answer any questions, and I'm here to answer questions as well. I remember when I used to be afraid to do lives. Oh my God, I used to be afraid to hit that live button. Now I'm just like, all right, I'm here,
Oh
live.
my goodness. I don't do as many lives as I should. So thanks for inviting me. I've enjoyed it. I really should do a lot more.
So, oh,
Let's see.
I think that's for you.
Let's see. How long does it take to open a personal care home? That is a very good question. It all depends on, well, the clients that I work for, my goal is really 90 days. So 90 days, the clock starts ticking the moment we acquire the home. So for us, it's 90 days.
Is that all?
90 days startup.
Okay, 90 days startup. Wow. Why is it so fast?
Well, that's the magic of it all. Well, 90 days to get them up and going.
Okay.
Waiting pending licensure, of course.
Pending licensure. Okay.
Because
Now,
they can start actually operating without a license.
that's right. Okay, you can start without a license. So is that 5 or 4 residents?
It's 3 to 4.
3 to 4. Great. Okay. That's great. So here in Maryland, no. Your front door can't even open without a license.
Okay.
So you need to have the beginning. So our process is a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
And we are shorthanded, or they are shorthanded with surveyors coming out to do the licensure. So ours can be anywhere from 6 months to a year.
Oh, wow.
So it's a process.
It's a process.
Yeah. So I had 5 facilities one time. And I thought, when I was not educated in this business and I wasn't the assistant living coach, I would go out and get these houses, and I was like, I can open one. And I was opening like crazy because it was easy for me to do because I had the knowledge. But then I realized it's about the quality and not the quantity, right?
Absolutely.
I was spreading myself thin.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving the facilities or even my staff and my residents the time and energy that they needed. And so I was knocked down for a minute, right? Meaning sometimes when people say, God will sit you down, and you're like, yeah, okay. Right. So God did sit me down for a minute and say, get yourself. Mm-hmm. And so I had to get myself together. And I was like, Lord, if you get me out of this one, I literally will get myself together. And so when that happened, I said, okay, 2 facilities will do me good. I do and make a lot more money than I do now with 2 facilities than I did with 5. Why? Because I'm able to stay focused. I know what they don't need, and I'm not spreading myself thin. I can give them, my staff, my residents, the families, everything that they need. And so, like I said, when I wasn't educated, And I thought the more you had, the more you would make.
Right. Like you said, definitely quantity over quantity.
Right. Absolutely. 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 So someone says that's the phase I'm in now. Is it safer to purchase an assisted living that already established? Do you want to answer that?
Safer, I don't know if safer is the right word. I mean, you can go on to the state website to inquire to see if the facility that you're purchasing or planning to purchase, if they have had any infractions in the past and things like that. So if if that's what you're meaning, then of course,
Yeah, I have
it varies.
a girl who actually went to one of my seminars like 5 years ago. She reached out to me, and she's in the process of considering purchasing a facility that has been in business for 10 years. So I'm actually going to be doing a walkthrough next week. I'm going to be through the facility. I'm going to go through all the manuals and everything like that, just to kind of see where they're at. I'm going to be able to look and see the past surveys that they had, some of the deficiencies that they had, so that I can give her a vision as to what she should expect. Should she move forward or should she not move forward? So that will take place next week. So I'm excited.
That must be super exciting. I'd love to know how that turns out.
I will. I definitely will. So I don't know if I would purchase a facility that has already been up and running. I don't know if I would.
Yeah, my very first question is usually, why are they selling? What's going on? That's my first question.
Right. Why are you selling? If it's such a great thing, why are you selling? If you're not elderly or you're not sick, why are you selling? And it's so great. Why are you not doing this anymore?
Super important to know that backstory and behind the motive for selling.
Absolutely.
Like you say, there are a lot of people that have been in this, been in the industry for quite a while, and it definitely, if you're not able to pace yourself, you can get burned out, just as you could in any other business that you truly are passionate about. So we definitely want to know the reasoning behind that. Well, absolutely.
To be honest with you, a few years ago, I believe like 2 or 3 years ago, I literally fell out of love with assisted living. Like I literally was like, oh my God, like I don't want to do this anymore. And I fell out of love with owning the homes, but I fell in love with the teaching part of it. Right. So love the teaching aspect of it. Like I love having the seminars and the workshops and the info sessions. Like I love those. But maybe about a year ago, I fell back in love with assisted living. I'm like, oh my God, like I'm
so glad you said that, because I mean, I've had my moments too where I'm like, oh, this is it. And then, morning will come and I'm like, okay, we're at it again. So it wouldn't be honest for me to say, oh my God, I love this every single day, 365. Right. There are really ebbs and flows to it, like everything else, because it is a lot of hard work. It is, it can be challenging sometimes. Like I mentioned before, my residents are the best. And 99.9% of the times when the issues arise, it's never usually with the residents, it's usually with the family members. Absolutely. And that can really sometimes put a damper on your spirit, because they're not always, they're not always complimentary when things are going well. Right. It's, it'll be that one thing that didn't go the way they expected it to go, and then, you're the bad guy or whatever. Right. And I tend to really stick up for my staff as well. So I will never, I encourage teamwork. And so, like I said, it's usually the family members that usually will kind of bring that, oh my gosh, kind of moment.
Yeah, one thing that I don't do is I don't allow the families to dictate from the outside. So prior to the families or whomever are signing the resident agreement, I let them know what the house rules are, what my expectations are. And I say, before you even sign this contract, can you abide by these rules? If you can't,
absolutely
can't, then guess what? This ain't gonna work. Because at the end of the day, your loved ones are my responsibility. And you're not going to see how, what, why. If you want to do that, then keep them home.
Take them home. Exactly.
That's what it is. But,
you're absolutely right.
Sometimes I feel as though I can come up as being really Assertive. I am. I'm very assertive. And I believe I'm assertive because people will take advantage of you and walk all over
Oh,
you. And so,
absolutely.
especially being a, a woman, a black,
Yes.
and
Yes.
you have to be able to stand on your own 2 feet and be strong and be able to stand up for what's right.
Absolutely. Well, Donzella, for me, I had to kind of grow into that person because I'm a nurse. And so my background has always been, healthcare and nursing. And you're kind of like, it's always we're people pleasers. Honestly, we say yes for everything. You tell us, what the problem is, and our job is to solve those problems. And so when I started in this industry years ago, that was my approach to everything. I was kind of like the yes girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I really had to learn boundaries and how to set those boundaries because it was really starting to wear on me.
Yeah.
And I learned that saying no or being very direct, as you mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
is super important for the longevity and for my own mental health. I really had to, grow a thicker layer of skin and not be a yes person because yes, I am the nurse. Yes, I'm clinical, and this is what I do. And like I said, we say yes to a lot of things because we're problem solvers as nurses. But for business, it did not translate very well. It was kind of a pushover for a while. So I really had to learn that skill of, no.
Right. Yeah.
No. My no is a no.
Yeah. Well, I think one of my downfalls, I don't I don't think it's a downfall now, but in the past, my downfall has been um, becoming friends with my staff. And it's like, can I borrow money? Sure. Can I take off? Sure. Can I? And we were friends, but then when it's time for business, it's like, well, why am I getting mad if they're not doing something? Well,
Right.
you're friends. When you're friends, friends don't have to do what you say, right? So I want to be friends, but yet I want to be the boss as well. You can't do both. You can't do
No.
both. So I learned the hard way, by being friends and being the boss and so I'm not that way anymore. Oh, absolutely not.
Right.
You're not a friend. You're not a friend.
Completely got it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I have the same issues. I'd be really nice and friendly, but like you said, it doesn't translate well for business because unless you have those boundaries, like I will never say never, but I have a strong policy on not hiring family members and things like that because, you know, we're different at work. And when I'm in work mode, it's work mode. And family will think, oh my God, she's so stuck up or she's being weird when you're just trying to get things done. Like you said, being responsible for all these lives, it's a very important thing. So yeah,
It's all, yeah, it's
friendships
about,
and family will have to stay on the back burner.
absolutely. So guys, we have 4 minutes. Is anyone on here that has any questions for me or, okay, Tootsies. Okay.
Hi, Dana. Dana says she absolutely agrees.
Oh, hi, Dana. Yeah, this business, unfortunately, is not for everyone. It's a great business, and if you truly, have a passion for it, I say go for it. But excuse me, it's not for everyone.
Right. It's not for the faint of heart, that's for sure. It truly is. You've got to have a lot of gusto and really know who you are and really want to do this. Like I ask everyone that needs help, opening up. Well, you can determine how involved you want to be. Now, if you just want to be, a manager or the owner, you can do that and then delegate others to run it and operate it effectively. But I still encourage everyone. I truly believe that you should know your business inside and out before you relinquish it to anyone.
Absolutely.
So I would say give it a good year of really deep diving and getting to really know your business because it would be, kind of silly to delegate things out to others without knowing the complete depths of your business.
Yep. So there are so many questions that people are leaving. But I want to just let people know that you can always schedule a phone consultation with me. I call them 30 for 30s. Why do I call them 30 for 30s? 30 minutes for only $30. So
And that
you can
is
go to the
great.
coachacademy.com and schedule a 30 for 30, and I can answer whatever questions, you know, that you might have. Unfortunately, it's so hard to answer questions as Claudia and I are dialoguing here, but I see that there's some great questions here. How can they contact you if they want to schedule a consultation or what have you?
I am the PCH coach here on Instagram. Once again, my handle is, what is my handle again? I'm the PCH coach, and also yeah, the PCHcoach.com is my website, and just DM me, and I'll be more than happy to help you.
Okay.
It's been so great talking to you. It's been a lot of fun.
Oh, great. Well, listen, don't DM me, y'all. You can go to the Assistant Living Coach Academy, book a 30 for 30. I get DMs that drives me crazy. But yes, please feel free to schedule a 30 for 30 with me. You can DM me. I'm only kidding. But you can go to the AssistantLivingCoachAcademy.com. You can schedule a 30 for 30 with me, 30 minutes for only $30. Again, as I mentioned, I do have information session and workshop coming up on September 23rd. Right now, I have a pre-sale going on for only $75. The regular price is $100. Now, if you don't think that you are worth $75 to invest in, then you ain't ready to become an entrepreneur or ready to get into the Come on.
Absolutely.
Okay. So make sure that you guys follow Claudia Summers on Instagram, the PCH coach. And I'm the assistant coach.
The PCH coach.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shanzella, for inviting me on. It's been a pleasure.
You're welcome. Thank you. And don't be a stranger, okay?
Oh, I won't.
Right,
I'll be in DC this weekend, so I'll
Oh, I'm going to Atlanta.
Oh, you're going to Atlanta? Oh, my daughter just went up for school, so I'll catch you sometime though.
In DC.
I'm sorry?
How long will you be in DC?
Until Sunday.
Until Sunday. I'll be in Atlanta. Send me a message.
Will do.
All right, bye.
Take care.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
Bye.